Good morning. This is Empress Pamela. Welcome to this edition of Cancer Chronicles. This is day 24. So, what does that mean? It has been 24 days since I received my cancer diagnosis. That was December 27th, 2021. Today is January 20th, 2022. A lot has happened since my last Chronicle video. Who you're looking at right now is my kitty Pikachu. She's looking out the window, so something interesting to watch. She's watching the birds. But about 10 days ago, I had my robotic assisted laparoscopic hysterectomy, wherein they took out my uterus, my cervix, ovaries, fallopian tubes. I feel like I'm forgetting one on the menu, but they took all those organs out. So that's a total hysterectomy. Recovery has been painful, a challenge. I was upstairs in my house for the first week on pain medication and alternating ibuprofen and Tylenol to manage the pain. A couple days ago, I was able to go downstairs, sort my mail. Got a shitload of medical related bills, mail that will remain unopened until I'm mentally prepared to look at it. But there's so much, it's like hard to explain everything. On January 7th, I had my first cancer doctor appointment, which was about 3 hours. And during that appointment, you go over your history and such, an exam. And because she had an opening or a cancellation for the 10th, which was about 3 days later, everything was accelerated. So they did blood work and they had scheduled me for a COVID test, a rapid test, because the hospital required all patients undergoing major surgeries to be tested. So that afternoon, I had to run down to the hospital and get a rapid COVID test, which came back negative, thankfully. Anyway, Monday the 10th, I had my surgery. I was already mentally prepared and I guess physically prepared because on the 22nd of December, I had my hysteroscopy, which was another type of surgery. The preliminary surgery, I guess, where they took the biopsy and all that kind of stuff of my mass that determined I had cancer, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Anyway, so I was already kind of prepared for what to expect, pre-surgery, pre-op, all that kind of stuff. And it was at a different hospital. I remember the pre-op nurse, Anna, I want to say Anna Grace, maybe not, but she was so nice. And I knew at that point, I just wanted it out of me, kind of like, I just want to get this over with. I just want to get to healing. I just want to spend the month of January just healing and moving on with my life, right? So, I remember like post-op. So the surgery is like 3 hours or something. And then I think I was in post-op. I don't even know. It's a blur. I was probably in post-op for like 2 hours. So I had to be at the hospital at 5:30 in the morning. And I think I got home maybe around 3 o'clock that afternoon. And let me tell you, the pain was fucking ridiculous. I think this is a funny thing. In post-op, the nurse, she has a hard job because people, when they wake up from anesthesia, you don't know what you're getting, and people are in pain, right? I think at one time, my outburst, I said, when she tried to make me move or something, get dressed or whatever, I go, motherfucker. And she goes, kids and people are here. And I'm like, I didn't give a shit. I was in such pain. But anyway, that was kind of like a funny moment, I guess, if you could say. But I get home and I could barely make it up the stairs and I could barely get my ass in bed. And I had to sleep like sitting up for probably the first 4 days. So it's been 10 days since my surgery, and now I think last night I was able to sleep on my side for the first time since the surgery, and I only did that like half the night because one of my sides, the right side, has been so painful. I've had to ice it ever since I've been home. And also, I think when I was in surgery, the anesthesiologist put something in my left wrist, whatever. I can't think of the word, an IV, and my freaking hand was swollen. It's still a little swollen, was swollen and bruised since I've been home since surgery. So I've had to not only ice my big fat belly, but my left wrist, which was very painful. It was seriously swollen, and it's still black and blue. Anyway, those are just minor things, but they're inconveniences, right? It doesn't make it easy to go to the bathroom. Oh my God. Oh, the pain. I forgot what day it was. Maybe I was home 2 or 3 days after surgery and the pain was still bad. And I had to call the doctor and to try to make sure I had more pain medicine because the last weekend we were expecting snow and I didn't want to be left without any pain medication. And then once again, I read my instructions and come to find out I wasn't taking enough Tylenol and ibuprofen in between my pain medication. So that was part of the problem of why my pain wasn't being managed properly. But anyway, I mean, it was pretty bad. It brought me to really severe tears, like, because I was immobile. And I don't know. That's one thing. The other things that I wanted to talk about was for the past 2 days, I've been like really emotional because I feel guilty about putting a burden on my family. Not only the like financial burden, but just like the inconvenience of them having to take care of me. I know it sounds silly, but it's just like exhausting because it's been 10 days since I've been home and it's like I don't like relying on other people. I'm kind of like a control freak anyway, and I usually have my shit together, so like being rendered helpless to, just like make your meals or needing help to go to the bathroom, that was like humbling. And it makes you really understand the importance of your support system that you have in your life, your loved ones, the people that care for you. It really brings to light who are your friends, who cares, who you can rely on, who's your emotional support. That's really like humbling. So when you go through something like this,
all of that comes to light. One other critical thing I wanted to talk about was my own personal realization and support system. My brother, I had compassion for him, but I didn't have a true understanding of what he went through a couple of years ago. He was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma about, I think it was 6 years ago. And while that, I was shocked and scared and upset, and the things that a family member would feel for a loved one, right? I didn't truly understand what that experience he had must have been like, because when you're diagnosed with cancer, you do contemplate your mortality, you know, but also not only that, it's like the pain of like medical procedures and going into the whole atmosphere of hospitals and surgeries and doctors and everything can just be like so taxing and exhausting. And not only did he have like non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, then 2 years later he had thyroid cancer, and then it's like his wife got diagnosed with breast cancer, and all these things that my brother and sister-in-law have gone through while I was, like I said, upset and scared for them and everything. You don't truly understand what their experience may have been until you go through it yourself and you understand like what's involved when you get surgery and what's in all the ins and outs and the protocols and the recovery, which is a pain, and like the healing and everything that's involved, and the drugs and the cost, never mind the cost, the whole money part of it is like fucked up, because there's like some sort of mental thing that you go through where you get a cancer diagnosis, you're scared for your life, but then you feel like guilty about being a burden, about all the money that's being spent, and the overwhelming sense of how am I going to take care of this. And also there's something like a guilt involved with, how am I going to pay for this? Why did this happen to me? Am I a bad person? What did I do to cause this? All these like kinds of questions that are very low vibration, right? They're like coming from a place of lack of self-worth, of guilt, shame, all these types of things that resonate with a deeper need for healing. But that's what I'm working on. Day 24. So, but I do want to add that I think, so my surgery was January 7th. I think the doctor called me on maybe the 10th. I want to say the 10th. It could have been after that. No, I had my surgery on the 10th. Sorry, she called me maybe the 14th. That was last Friday, I think. Yeah, I think it was the 14th. And she came back with the pathology report, and it's stage 1A endometrial cancer. So whatever that means to you or me, supposedly there's no post-treatment, there's no chemo, there's no radiation. They think they got it all with the total hysterectomy. So this is good news, right? I'm going to have my follow-up appointment next week on the 26th. I'll get more information, but there is a silver lining, I guess, to this. It's just me recovering
holistically, I guess, with the support of my family and loved ones and friends for the next, let's say, 6 weeks, because it is pretty cumbersome type of recovery. But the good news is I won't need any additional treatment. I'll get more information next week when I see my doctor. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for putting up with me. Thank you all for being a part of my journey. I love you all so much. And please today take time to tell your loved ones that you actually do love them. Express your feelings. Be honest. Because who doesn't want to hear that they're loved, right? I love you, and I hope you can speak from your heart. Take care.